not really gonna go anywhere. So, all right, let's see. Let us see. I am starting a little bit late, so. No, I should probably wear this too. Hair's all wet and shit. Ugh. Boom, 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 boom. Let me share this out real quick. All right, roll on in, roll on in, roll on in. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Okay. Anyone there? Announce your presence. Become verified. Hey, what is up, Adam? How you living? How goes life? Oh, yo, what's up, Remix? Long time no see. Yo. Hey, the gang's rolling in, the gang's rolling in. How we doing, people? Damn. Alright. Well. Got enough people. Finally read the new Ultimate Spider-Man issue #1. Loved it. Dude, nice. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this this new Ultimate Spider-Man run goes. I was talking about it with my buddy Troy earlier. We were talking about how like it's a little slow. And I get it. I do get it. I guess for me, like, Hickman is just a guy who I know for a fact just he doesn't write for the trade. He doesn't even write for the issue sometimes. He writes for the omnibus. Everything that he's writing in this first issue, it's gonna pay off in like 30 issues. It's gonna be amazing in like in 30 issues, including the tie-ins to like whatever event comes up in the middle of his Ultimate Spider-Man series, as well as the sequel series that he writes, or not sequel series, sister series that he writes. He's probably gonna do like a ultimate. Oh, what's up, John Ty? How you doing, man? He's also probably gonna do like ultimate, like, I don't know, ultimate Spider-Verse or ultimate Iron Man. You know, it'd be really cool if you did like an ultimate Doctor Strange, and it tied into to Ultimate Spider-Man. That'd be pretty sick. I don't know, that's just the way Hickman writes, though. He starts with like the germ of like a really cool idea in one book, and then that shit just expands over like 5 different titles and 2 events. And then you end up with the tapestry that he has between Fantastic Four, Shield, Avengers, the reboot of the Ultimates that he took control over after Mark Miller left that book again during the Ultimate Fallout era of the Ultimate Universe. And like all that like leads up to Secret Wars, and it's pretty fucking seamless. Like it's really good. So I'm excited to see how he does that with the new Ultimate Universe. I'm down with it. The book is so hard for me to decide to either get it in trade or wait because it's Hickman, but I want to read it as often as I can. I'm conflicted. I feel that. This will be the first Hickman book that I read like issue to issue. I read like parts of his Fantastic Four as they were coming out. Well, not really his Fantastic Four. I really got his FF because that was tying into Spider-Man. And I was like such a Spider-Man completionist at the time, even though I wasn't really liking the Dan Slott material. But I have some of not Ultimate. I have some of FF. I think I might have some of his Ultimate stuff from the Divided We Fall era. With the Ultimate in like the Ultimate Universe. That's about it. I don't have anything else really. I don't even think I have all the issues to Secret Wars. Yeah, I don't think I have Secret Wars either. But yeah, this is gonna be like the first Hickman series that I follow. I'm really excited because I think he's a really good storyteller. I don't even think I have like East to West in single issues. And that's like my favorite comic of like the past 20 years. I think I have all that in trade actually. I've also been told that Black Monday Murders is pretty good, but like the ending is sort of like meh. I have noticed that with Hickman a little bit. Outside of his superhero stuff, he tends to be like a bit of a Stephen King style writer, where he has like really cool ideas and really big concepts, and the end just sort of is the end. East of West is like the only exception to that I've seen so far. But like Decorum, that's another one. I don't think I have Decorum up there, but Decorum's another one. Really good comic, really fascinating ideas, really good art. Who's the artist that he worked on Decorum with? Because that artist was like absolutely like just it's a godsend. Your art is just beauty beyond compare. Mike Huddleston broke his dick off in that book. That if you ever get the chance, if you love like high concept sci-fi like cyberpunk, and if you love like Star Trek, if you love like Warhammer, yeah, Decorum's definitely the book for you. It's so good. It's if you love The Expanse or like what's the other one? Blade Runner. Well, not really Blade Runner, but like Foundation. That's what I wanted to talk. If you like the Foundation, if you like stuff like that, you should definitely check out Decorum. That's really good. The only thing that holds it back from being like my top Hickman book is that just the ending is. It's just one of those. Well, it ends, and it's over. Like, all right, I guess. But I have no problem with pacing. He's building his world, and it's not too far off in Spider-Man's origin. A lot of people don't remember that there's a long stretch in time of Peter having his powers. I think I misread you, but and how he uses powers in both 1610 and 616 until Algoin passes. You're right about that. I have seen that as like a common complaint with the first issue of the new Ultimate Spider-Man, that nothing really happens. There's not enough Spider-Man in this first issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, and that is a fair complaint to have. The style of storytelling that we've seen permeate comics over these past 2 decades, that prioritizes decompression, I can see that not being the peanut butter to everyone else's jelly, and that's fair. You know, I can't get mad at anybody for that, but I mean, I don't know. You go back to the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker, again, one of the most influential comics of the 21st century. Well, American comics of the 21st century. Peter Parker doesn't become Spider-Man until issue 5 or 6. No. He becomes like Spider-Man in issue 4. That's when he joins the wrestling, Underground Wrestling Federation or whatever, and he like defeats Crusher Hogan. But he doesn't become like a superhero until like issue 6 or 7. Like he's not like straight up superhero Spider-Man until the second arc of Ultimate Spider-Man. So like, I don't know. He suited up faster in this book than he did the previous Ultimate Spider-Man run. His Ultimate Fantastic Four and Future Foundation was amazing character work. It really was. Reed has like an amazing arc in that book. Sue is, she's just the woman. I mean, Johnny and Ben are also just kind of there. It's really Reed's book. The other members of the Fantastic Four don't really get that much to do. I mean, Sue gets a lot to do as well, but like I feel like it's Hickman sort of turns on its ear the tradition of just writing Sue as the woman, and that I'm here with the kids. Oh, everything I do revolves around Reed. They sort of like make her a girl boss in the Hickman and Dragotta run. I think Nick Dragotta did like a couple issues there and there. He didn't do the whole thing, but they turn her into a girl boss, and but again, there's not that much focus on her. She just becomes a ambassador to like the tribes of Atlantis, and you know, here we're giving her stuff to do off screen over there. Meanwhile, let's focus on Reed. And they treat Johnny and Ben the same way. Like, here's this cure that Ben has. It's gonna be important for Reed down the line to flesh out Reed's story down the line. Johnny is going to die, and that's going to flesh out Reed's story down the line. But it's still really good. A lot of really good character moments between Reed and the family. A lot of really good character moments between Reed and his father, Nathaniel. I love the whole emphasis on like fatherhood, and again it ties back into the Shield book that he did, where Nathaniel sacrifices being a father for being like a super spy, secret agent, science cultist, with Shield, and like we see how that affects Reed, and then like Franklin's whole thing as like an adult is no father should, or like no child should grow up without a father. Like it all ties together really well. It's a really really good it's a really good run. It does basically hit all the beats of like a standard Fantastic Four run, but I really fuck with it. It's really good. All of Hickman's books in the lead up to Secret Wars as the final payoff were incredible. I wish he could have finished his X-Men run as intended. I hope. Yeah. Oh man, that's one that I try not to dwell on because I know for a fact he would have cooked. He would have cooked with X-Men. I mean, people already joke about how Hickman basically just turned the X-Men, or he turned the Fantastic Four into the X-Men. You know, when having the whole thing with the Baxter Building turns into like a school for gifted youngsters and all that. Like it's very X-Men-y. So Hickman getting a shot at the X-Men and then having that sort of like dashed is very unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How are you? I'm really good, thank you, man. Appreciate it, Supreme. How you doing? So my friend and I are watching the OG Star Wars trilogy, unaltered version. Oh, nice. This is his first time watching, and here's his take. The first one is the only good one. He didn't like Empire and Jedi. Really? Damn. That's a hot take. I think your friend's a heretic, and he has to be chained up and then placed in a dungeon, fed once a day, dry bread, old oatmeal with a bit of mold on the side for the immune system. That's what your friend needs, and soon he'll come to his senses. No, I get that. I think the first Star Wars film is a really wonderful standalone piece. I like Empire Strikes Back a lot. I think it's really good at like fleshing out Luke as a character. Because that first movie, no one's really a character. They're all just archetypes. And they get like further fleshed out as the films go along. But I can't take that opinion away from your friend. I don't know. I greatly disagree. I would lock your friend up in a dungeon and feed them once a day. But, you know, you do you. You do you. John Ty says, since I've been reading more of the Tom Taylor John Kent Superman run, John Kent feels like New 52 Superman to me, especially when the government stooges call out New 52 Superman and John's inexperience. That's very true. I mean, I haven't really read the John Kent book, but that was a big part of like New 52 Superman. Him sort of being like an enemy of the government. I thought that was a really interesting take as well. It was going back to the Golden Age real hard. I liked when Morrison and Scott Snyder did it with Superman Unchained. So that's something I just like with a lot of like modern updates of like younger Superman. Like this is like a well-intentioned guy, but he everything he's doing puts him at odds with the government. And we're watching him like reconcile that. He like doesn't want to be an enemy to anyone, but you're gonna make enemies just by default of your actions. I think that's really cool. It's a really, really interesting take on Superman. Not a lot of other people like it though. Some people are like, blah, 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 blah. You're making Superman SJW, blah blah. Insert other culture war mental retrograde gymnastics here, but Stream says, in my friend's view, he felt that the first Star Wars film had a charming, trippy 70s feel to it. It really does. And we don't make movies like that anymore. Shit, dude, I was dude, what was I watching the other night? It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. It was Judge Dredd. Like the Stallone version. You know what? Everyone, first of all, that movie's really good. It's like it's a really decent adaptation of 2080 Judge Dredd comics. It just is. I love the Dredd 3D movie a lot, but the Judge Dredd film is like a I mean, like if you just take all the like Judge Dredd comics and like put them into like a blender, you get that movie. it's doing all the lore. It's very campy. It's very silly. Like a lot. Like I think a lot of people don't realize how goofy those comics actually are. Like they're satire. They're really funny. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that really kind of struck me about the film when I was watching it though was there's like a tangibility to it. There's like a grittiness to it that you just don't see in a lot of contemporary, not even just superhero films, just like genre films. You don't see that like level of griminess anymore. I don't know. I like that for Star Wars. And you know what? I will say The Mandalorian, at least the first two seasons, because those are the only seasons those are the only seasons I've watched. But The Mandalorian does a really good job of going back to that like level of grittiness in Star Wars. Jontai says also look at both John Kent and Nifty 2 Clark Kent as ask other heroes to do more. Nifty 2 Clark Kent said that the Justice League... Yeah, he did say that to the Justice League. Yeah, I think they were handled a little differently. I think I prefer the way Grant Morrison approached that question. When he's talking to like a bunch of his peers who are also relatively new to the job, to John Kent sort of like asking his dad, Superman, why aren't you doing it? I know it just felt weird when John said it in a way. It didn't feel like weird and misplaced when Clark said it in like the Grant Morrison Action Comics series. But that's just me. Remix says decompression in comics has some positives and negatives. Positives that the visual pacing from panel to panel visually makes the flow and reading experience better. Negatives that there's less story per issue. That's very true, and that can be problematic when you are getting up in there in price. Comics are now like on average like $4.99. Like the average comic on the bookshelves is $4.99. On the low end, $3.99. The low end. So when you have that like decompressed style of storytelling, it does feel like a large ask, but I don't know. I think it depends $5.99. In the case of the first issue, $5.99 for like 44 pages isn't that bad. But generally, I agree with you. It does seem a bit egregious when you're getting like less story per issue. John says, with what John Kent is doing in The Son of Kal-El, it parallels what Clark is doing on Warworld. John is fighting for the oppressed of Gamora Island, and Clark is fighting for the oppressed in Warworld. Okay. I didn't read that material. It is sort of interesting that Henry Bendix is still alive, because a big reason in the original Authority book, like one of the core reasons why the Authority comes together is that it's the death of Henry Bendix. Stormwatch is dead. The world needs a new, like, big brother type figure to protect it and watch over it, and that's where the Authority comes in. When you have Henry Bendix alive and well, it's sort of, I don't know, the continuity of like how the Authority works sort of gets muddled and confusing, but I don't know. Gentai says, Supreme says, also on my friend, he didn't like the Vader twist and Luke and Leia sibling reveal. He felt it devolved too much on Skywalker family drama. Felt Luke was more relatable as a wide-eyed farm boy in the first film. I guess for me, I don't know. I don't have that problem. Yeah. I don't know. Also, like, I don't know. How old is your friend? How's your friend, like, not... How do they not realize that Luke is... That's a very iconic line. Like, Luke, I am your father. Like everyone knows that. I knew that before I even, like, watched those films. I don't know. Are you caught up with Gaiman's Miracle Man Silver Age? And if so, what do you think of issue 7? I thought issue 7 was really good. I can't wait another 30 years to read The Dark Age. Yep. Yeah, apparently, like, I saw somewhere that Neil Gaiman wasn't going to actually work on The Dark Age. Why? I don't know. But, I mean, that's his decision. That's fair, but damn. Just damn. This ending is really good. It sets up the Dark Age really well. It sucks we're not going to see it for, like, another whole ass generation. Because, yeah, no, like, Miracle Man set himself up as the god of a new utopia. He is king of the pantheon. Yeah, that creates an imbalance where there's no, like, figure of opposition. God needs the devil, you know? Thor needs Loki. Odin needs the frost giants. I'm trying to think of other, like, mythological the Olympians need the Titans. Gilgamesh needs Ishtar as a foil. The junior gods of ancient Babylonian mythology, they need Tiamat, their mother, as as an opposing force. So, like, yeah, no, it's really cool seeing Dickie take on that role as uh like the new Satan, essentially. I think that's a really cool revelation, having Dickie go down that path. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes, if it goes. I want it to go somewhere, but like I doubt it. But it's also a nice ending too. Like, if that's just where it ends, and we're just left with, well, these are the consequences of Miracle Man's actions. That's also a decent ending too. Like leaving it open ended, I also think works. I'd rather it not be, but John Ty says Golden Age Superman characterization, Chad, Silver Age Superman characterization, beta, beta. I don't hate. It's so weird. I don't hate Silver Age Superman. He doesn't. He's a very different type of character than Golden Age Superman. Like, Golden Age Superman is like he's a menace to crime. That man is like the ultimate force of punk rock anti-authoritarianism and anti-fascism, and then Silver Age Superman is just a figure of the state. It's representative of where the country was when you look at those two radically different characterizations. It is what it is. I don't know. That's just how it is. My friend always knew about Star Wars, but he always avoided it due to bad experience with toxic Star Wars fans. Dude, yeah, man. The fandom menace has always been around. I feel that. Let's see, the continuity within the story is like Warworld Saga, Son of Kal-El, and Return of Kal-El feels like the structure of The Death and Return of Superman. I can kind of see that. In Warworld Saga, Clark leaves Earth in his absence. Another Superman steps up to take the mantle, kind of like the Reign of Superman. Yeah, it is very 90s in that sense. I remember a lot of people were talking about how the I guess the Smallville jacket era, just after like Philip Kennedy Johnson jump-started the post-War World status quo of Superman. People like called that the new Triangle era. It really wasn't. First of all, there wasn't an ungodly amount of Superman books on the shelves that all tied into each other. But yeah, I can see how some people got that feeling. What have you read? I just finished reading Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers. So I just bought Secret Wars today, and I'm gonna finish that whole run out. Which I read at the time, but it's been like shit. It's been a decade. It's been a whole decade. Damn, I'm old. But yeah, man. I'm gonna finally get a chance to like read all of it in sequence. It's a really good read, man. It's really good. So I'm finally getting a chance to read all that material, and I also am reading Earth X by Jim Kruger and the late great John Paul Leon and Alex Ross. This book is Holy shit, man. Sorry, John Paul Leon, Bill Reinhold, and Alex Ross. Bill Reinhold is the inker. Oh, okay, interesting. John Paul Leon didn't do his own inks there. Oh, okay. And Todd Klein. Todd Klein does a really good job with the lettering here. It's I mean, I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much of it. I am going to talk about this book at some point. But yeah, there's some really cool there's some really cool lettering techniques done here by Todd Klein. And Matt Hollingsworth and James Sinclair did the colors. Fuck, man, how old is Matt Hollingsworth? This book came out in 1999. I feel like he's one of the 5 colorists in the comic book industry. With the amount of times I see his name on books. But yeah, Earth X is so good. It's so funny. So, alright, how do I put this? So, you know how throughout the late 80s and the 90s, after The Dark Knight Returns came out, it felt like every book in the DC universe proper was leading towards Dark Knight Returns. Like, DC was just teasing, like, oh yeah, and then Oliver Queen, he's gonna get his arm cut off like Superman. Oh, what's gonna happen there? Ooh, and Superman and Batman. Oh, Jason Todd's dead. Oh, just like in Dark Knight Returns. Oh no, Batman and Superman are they're gonna be on like opposite ends of the ideological spectrum. Just like in Dark Knight Returns. Ooh, what's gonna happen there? Like they were really leaning into Dark Knight Returns, like being the future of the DC universe. Until Kingdom Come came out, and then for the next like 10 years, DC was really leaning heavily into the idea of, oh, Kingdom Come is going to be the future of the DC universe. Joker's going to kill Lois Lane. What's going to happen to Lois Lane? They're married, and then something bad's going to happen. Oh, Clark Kent and Lois are having problems because Lois is jealous of Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is naturally the woman for Superman, just like in Kingdom Come. Like, DC was really leaning into Kingdom Come being the future of the DC universe. I mean, you even had like I think Tim Drake became Red Robin. They killed off Ted Kord, and they replaced him with Jaime. And Jaime's costume, well, the Cully Hamner design for Blue Beetle, it doesn't exactly look like the Alex Ross redesign of Blue Beetle, but like it's very armored. It's not at all like the traditional Ted Kord costume. So again, DC was like really gearing up for like, no, everything's leading to Kingdom Come, until they weren't. But in a weird way, I feel like Earth X is the exact same thing for Marvel, except they never shifted gears. They've just been mining this book for ideas and pushing the Marvel Universe slowly into the Earth X future as the years go by. Like so many things in like recent Marvel history that are considered like radical and crazy or like groundbreaking comes from Earth X. Like female Thor, Earth X. Charles Xavier dying, and then Scott Summers taking on like a new generation of the X-Men, Earth X. You have Black Bolt activating a Terrigen bomb that mutates the population. Earth X. That's like the entire point of Earth X. Like Carol Danvers like growing the fuck up and like becoming like Captain Marvel. Earth X. Like like so much of contemporary Marvel Comics comes from Earth X. Clea becoming the Sorcerer Supreme after Doctor Strange dies. Earth X, like, it's so crazy. It's so, and no one talks about it. Like, this book has seemingly influenced everything, every event to come out of Marvel these past, like, 25 years. It all comes from Earth X. Norman Osborn, I mean, and here he becomes the president of the United States of America, but he does become, like, the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, depending on who's writing it, is, like either just under the president or, like, just above the president, so, you know, so, again, that's another thing that comes from Earth X. There was another one that I was just thinking of. Damn. Oh, right. The Sleeping Celestial from Neil Gaiman's and Johnny Romita Jr.'s run on the Eternals. That literally comes from Earth X. The whole thing where Earth is just a big ass celestial seed. It's all Earth X. Like, everything comes from Earth X. And this book is just, no one talks about it. Marvel hasn't kept it in print. It's just, it's like largely been like forgotten. It's gone down the well of obscurity. Yet it's been the foundation for like so much of Marvel's contemporary continuity. It's bizarre, but yeah, no, I like that book a lot. It's really good. How do you feel about the Superior Iron Man being used in Hickman's Avengers run? Like, if you were only reading Hickman's Avengers run, evil Tony Stark kind of comes out of nowhere. I felt like he ignored it. Like, the way it read to me, like, I know for a fact that, like, Axis happens around that time period, and that's where Tony gets, like, the symbiotic armor, and that's when he, like, breaks bad. But everything up to that point, I still feel like Cap would have that, like, final battle with Tony regardless. Because Tony's whole thing is like, ends justify the means, and Captain America just doesn't agree with, he doesn't agree with the ends to which Tony's willing to go to carry out the protection of Earth. So all that feels very consistent to me. I don't even factor in, like, Superior Iron Man, or, like, Tony's actions in Superior Iron Man is being relevant to whatever Hickman was doing. Remix says Earth X is great. I haven't read the follow-ups, but I like the original comic a lot. Yeah, no, it's really good. Dude, there's even stuff in here that, like, I think is just so fascinating, like the Earth X version of the Red Skull. He's just this, like, shithead mutant, or, like, I think he's really an Inhuman, but he's just this, like, shithead teenager with telepathic abilities, and he kills every other telepath in the world. His parents try to get him, like, counseling because they're, like, worried for their, like, psychotic child, and they get, like, Doc Samson to treat him, and then this kid, like, makes Doc Samson, like, tear himself in half, like, well, not in half, like, he makes him, I think they say that, like, I think his name is Barney, but, like, basically the like, Red Skull Jr. makes him he turns himself inside out. He makes Doc Samson turn himself inside out, and he dies halfway through. Fuck. That is so bleak. Just a wonderful villain. He's like so terrifying. He like kills Norman Osborn. And like Norman's death is like reminiscent of the death of Gwen Stacy. It's like, dog, this book is so good. It really should be up there in like conversation with like Kingdom Come and Dark Knight Returns. I mean, so far I think it's better than Kingdom Come. Just throwing it out there. Personally, I like it more than I like Kingdom Come, but I don't like Kingdom Come. That's just my personal, like, I don't like it. I don't fuck with it. But I love Earth X. It's really good. It's so crazy that like Earth X is like a response to Kingdom Come. Let's see. Stream says also my friend, he doesn't get why the Ewoks get so much hate and blame. He dislikes C-3PO more. Like R2-D2 was the cooler. I mean, everyone likes R2-D2 more than C-3PO. Just yeah. Dentai says, which future DC story would you like to be the actual future of the DC universe? Dark Knight Returns or Kingdom Come? Well, shit. If you're gonna make me choose between the two, I mean, I guess Kingdom Come. I guess. Even though like I reject what that book stands for and its take on the DC universe, but you know. Yeah. Like, A Dark Knight Returns, I think, is a really wonderful story. But I do not like that as, like, the definitive ending to the DC universe. I don't like that idea at all. Remix says, I go back and forth on Kingdom Come as my headcanon ending to the post-crisis pre-New 52 DCU. A lot of the pieces fit like I'd want them to. I mean, it absolutely does. Kingdom Come is very much Mark Waid and Alex Ross's love letter to pre-crisis DC. Like, that's a world where, like, I mean, I know it's been retconned now, but that's a world where Dick Grayson doesn't become Nightwing. He just becomes Red Robin as he gets older. That's a world where like, they established that there's no multiverse. Which doesn't exactly make a lot of sense in like some of the newer retcons that not Alex Ross, that Mark Waid has made to the Kingdom Come world, because I mean, like, a lot of those Justice League stories pre-crisis focus on like the multiverse. Like, there's a lot of crossover between like Earth 1 and Earth 2. There's like the whole thing where like the crime syndicate of Earth 3, like, that's, I don't know. It just, there's some inconsistencies there, but yeah, for the most part, it's a really good wrap up to like the pre-crisis DC universe. If anything, there's actually a really good, I'm gonna try to find it and pop it into the chat. There's a really good like timeline that Alex Ross did, where he starts from like Action Comics #1, and then you see the DC universe progress through like the Silver Age and the Bronze Age, and then Kingdom Come happens, and then you get the like everyone, like, they get old. Superman, like all the heroes that Superman like grew up with, and like the Justice League, they all die, but him and like his children alongside Wonder Woman, they all survive. And then you get the Commandi future where everything's like lost and mutants run the world and humans are like the minority and they're like pets. And then after that, like, the Legion of Superheroes show up, and then they reclaim the world, and Earth is made like the central. It's made like the capital of the United Planets, and then you see like a really old, ancient, like old man Superman. He's looking up at the Legion of Superheroes and Superboy, like himself. So like it all like sort of goes in a perfect loop. That's a it's a really wonderful piece. I'm gonna try to find that. It's not really like a circle. It just sort of, the version I saw, like, just goes in a straight line. It goes like straight down. Shit, I'm gonna try to find it. And if I don't find it like during the stream, I'll just post it. I'll post it. I'll make a community post, but yeah, no, that was definitely. Fuck, man, where was it, dude? I know like Mark Miller posted it, but I'm not gonna like scour Mark Miller's entire like Twitter history. That's just way too goddamn much. It's not this one, is it? No. Shit. Damn. Damn. Legion of Superheroes. I'll try that. Shit, that's not it either. It's so frustrating. Oh well, I'll find it. I'll find it eventually, but. Remix says, Earth X has kind of become a forgotten gem, super influential and a great story that's not talked about enough as it should be. It's definitely one of Marvel's best standalone graphic novels. No, I absolutely agree. Like it's, I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but it's really, it's fighting that like top tier spot with Mark Miller and I almost said Frank Quietly. Mark Miller and Brian Hitch's Ultimates for me. Because for me that's like the perfect Marvel comic. Like that book is everything I think. Like Ultimates 1 and Ultimates 2 was everything that I think makes Marvel Comics Marvel. It's politically like relevant. It's pulling from the headlines a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It's straight up just pulling from the headlines. It is social-political satire, using superheroes as a means to express said social-political satire. It's this like really sort of like gut-wrenching like hero's tale, where all these heroes are like acting as gods in a world that like they have no concept for the power they hold, nor do they like really deserve it. That's like everything that I think makes Marvel, baby. I don't know. That's everything that it feels like Stan and Jack were doing back in the 60s. It feels like everything that the Marvel bullpen guys were doing in the 60s with like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, Doctor Strange. So I don't know. I think the Ultimates definitely lives up to all of that, as well as acting as like a love letter to like classic Marvel in a weird way. But Earth X just it is just like progressing the classic Marvel universe, and like sticking to that same level of like cold sci-fi irreverence that I think sort of dominated a lot of that like 60s material, while also being a little like tongue-in-cheek here and there. Like I don't know, this feels like the ultimate Marvel story, like so much so to the point where like I kind of do consider this, again, I haven't read it yet, but like I do consider this to be like the future of the Marvel universe in a way. I really fuck with it. I can't wait to get to the end of that book. It's really exciting. It also kind of makes me want to like check out the sequels too. John Ty says, what are some of the highs and lows of Hickman's Avengers run? I will say, like a lot of people have already said, New Avengers by Hickman is better than his Avengers run. So I actually don't know what issues are which in that collection. I just don't know. Like some of it I'm sure is New Avengers, some of it I know is like just the standard Avengers title. But the highs are definitely everything involving the Illuminati. The lowest of lows for me is Infinity. That I actually skipped over most of it. And you know, my buddy was telling me, Jack Genocide, he's telling me for years I can just skip over Infinity, like it's not important. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. That book is, this whole collection is expensive as shit. Like this whole thing comes to like $250. I'm not gonna skip over like I'm not gonna skip over anything. I paid a lot of money for that shit. First of all, but second of all, Hickman's one of those writers where I feel like if you skip something, you miss something. But that, like, I don't know. Looking back, that wasn't really the case with Infinity. Like, if anything, it feels more so like the MCU is hot right now, and we need to have Thanos in something. Put Thanos in something. People care about Thanos now. Make Thanos a character. Go against Jim Starlin's wishes and do something with Thanos. And here's Thane, who I've seen like no one do anything with at all. But whatever. So yeah, like the only thing going past Infinity that you really need to like have a frame of reference for is that Atlantis is destroyed by the Wakandans, and Namor is just like plotting revenge. Not really plotting revenge. He like tells one of the Black Order to like level Wakanda. So like that's where that schism comes in later in that book, between Black Panther and Namor, and the Shi'ar Empire are in debt to Earth because the Avengers saved one of their like planets from the Builders. But that's it. That's really it. Nothing else in Infinity is really important. It's just a long ass event because Marvel needed to tie something in with Infinity War. That's it. That's really what it feels like to me. So Yeah, that's like the low point of Hickman's run on the Avengers, but outside of that, everything else is really good. Um, let's see. Reading the Marvels and Earth X is a great getaway to understand some of the continuity of the Marvel Universe. Yeah, no, it's like, even though it's deconstructing a lot of material, it also acts as a really good guidebook to anyone who I think doesn't know anything about the Marvel Universe, especially that Zero issue at the beginning where Uatu is talking to the Machine Man, and he's making him, or like really he's grooming him to be the new Watcher. Oh shit, that's another one. The Watcher's blind, just like in Original Sin. like when Nick Fury carves out the Watcher's eyes. Also, the death of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this book. I guess so much goes back. It all goes back to Earth X. Everything that everyone likes about like current Marvel, or doesn't like about current Marvel, comes from Earth X. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of curious as to when the Spider-Girl book brings in April Parker, because that's like the symbiote twin of Mayday, and in Earth X, Mayday is Venom. So like, I don't know, I'm fascinated to know like what the timeline of that is, because this comes out in 1999. I'm curious to know when like April shows up. Actually, let me look it up. That might be something that's like inspired by Earth X. April Parker first showed up in 2008. So that's like what, a solid 9 years after Earth X came out. Yeah. Again, goes back to Earth X. But yeah, Earth X has a lot of really good like lore dumps, and it also like gives you like a clear, comprehensive timeline of the Marvel Universe. I feel like in a way this is very like new reader friendly. I feel like you can just hand this to someone who like wants to get into Marvel and just say start here. I don't know. I feel like you can. I mean, there are some other things. This obviously being a pre-MCU Marvel book. Like Bucky's not important. Which again, we're just never gonna see that again. Like the Winter Soldier's like way too popular now, so going back to this and like Uatu was like, oh, Bucky's not important. Fuck it. Fuck that kid. Who cares? Moving on. There's also stuff with Mayday Parker. I don't know if they would have like Peter be like a schlubby like pussy in the same way that like he's like a whiny pussy in this now. I don't think you do that with an older Peter Parker. At least in Marvel Comics now. I don't think they would do that in like an alternate universe story. Yeah, man, I don't know. Also, you definitely wouldn't have Luke Cage be a cop. You definitely would not do that. They wouldn't do that now. They just wouldn't. Something that I am kind of no one's done anything with telepathic, like 4chan personified Kid Red Skull. No one's done that yet. Which I think that's like, this is the perfect time to do that. It like really is. I don't know. Could be really cool, but I guess it might be a little too spicy right now. Remix says Kingdom Come definitely started the remember the Silver Age trend that dominated DC throughout the 2000s, for better or worse. Absolutely. I wonder what DC would look like if that book ever came out. I really do. Because I do not like Kingdom Come. I strongly believe that Kingdom Come, like, ruined DC. It, like, ruined DC's image. By leaning, like, so heavily into the whole, weren't things better 30 years ago? I don't like it. John Ty says, I feel like Infinite Crisis is the post-crisis story version of Kingdom Come. Both have Superman that come back to the world. They try to bring a brighter future. You know, I've also never read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I've tried to several times. It is... That book feels like homework to me. It's just a lot. I know it's hailed as like a classic and all that, but I can't do it. That book is just so hard to read. Oh, sorry. You said Infinite Crisis. Not Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I love Infinite Crisis. I love Infinite Crisis. That's a really good one. Who do you think is the most underrated comic book hero in your opinion? There's a couple. It's sort of weird now because in the age of like superhero oversaturation, everyone's getting a movie and TV show, so like there's new fans of a lot of different kinds of characters. You know, hear me out on this one. I would still consider Iron Man to be a very underrated superhero. Because even though he's like the face of the biggest Hollywood franchise in the world, movie Iron Man is a very, very different character from comic book Iron Man. And I still think comic book Tony, like classic comic book Tony, is a very fascinating character. He's a very underrated character. Like no one, like when talking about long form storytelling and characters experiencing like arcs over a period of like 15, 20, 30 years, no one talks about Tony Stark. And I think he's a really fascinating character when you go from the Stan Lee and Don Heck stuff from like the 60s into the well, I haven't read the Lynn Kaminsky stuff, but I have read like up through Armor Wars 2, like everything from Don Heck and Stan Lee up through John Romita Jr. and John Byrne. That's a really solid character arc. In fact, I think everything leading up to the first Armor Wars, that's a really good character arc for Tony Stark. I think he's a really fascinating character that just no one gives him his due. No one talks about him. So I think I think he's still like one of the more underrated comic book characters. I think he's really cool. I would also throw Wally West in there as well. Because I mean, a lot of people fashion themselves as Flash fans because of the the DC animated universe. Although Wally in that show he's a very, that's not Wally West in the comics. Like it really isn't Wally. The Wally you see in the comics from like Marv Wolfman and George Perez's New Teen Titans, that character up through Mike Barr and oh man, I can't think of the other guys' names, but like the early Volume 3 Flash material and everything from Mark Waid up through Jeff Johns and Scott Collins. That's a really good character arc, and I feel like that character like meets his peak once you get to the end of Johns' run on the Flash. Like that's why I say I don't know. I'm of the personal opinion where I like what we're getting of the Flash right now. I love that Wally's back. I like seeing him interact with his family and all that. But as far as I'm concerned, that character's story is over, and it's been over for like 20 years. And I don't know. I still hold to the idea that Jesse Quick should have followed up as the fourth Flash. I do not know what they were thinking in putting Bart Allen into a Flash costume. I don't know what what was the thought process behind that. It should have been Jesse. She should have been the fourth Flash, but that's neither here nor there. I can't go back in time and fix that, but whatever. But yeah, no, I think Wally is definitely an underrated character. He's another really good one. Shit. Looking at my bookshelf now. Jaime Reyes is also a really good character. Like that, 25, 30 issues of that initial run. Everything dealing with getting the Scarab attached to him, and then being drafted into the Infinite Crisis battle against Brother Eye, and then being stranded in space for a year, and then coming back, and then everything's different. His friends, one of his friends joins a gang, and the other one of his friends, she's living with her rich aunt, who's a major criminal kingpin. All that's really good, and that all comes to a head with the war between the Justice League International, more or less, and the Reach. That's all really good. Jaime's an amazing character. He's very underrated. But let me see. I don't know. I got to think about it a little bit, but definitely at the top of my list is comic book Tony Stark. I think he's severely underrated. John Ty says, did you like the Doctor Doom twist with the Black Swans and all that stuff with Molecule Man? I did. I really did. I thought it was really cool. like, again, Hickman's stuff all reads really well together. It's, yeah. And Molecule Man is not a character that I've read a lot of comics with. He's popped up here and there in some old Fantastic Four stuff that I've read. I think it's old Fantastic Four stuff that I've read. But like, that's not a character that I'm all that familiar with. I have like a passing familiarity with him. But yeah, I thought it was really well utilized in Hickman's run on the Avengers. Let's see. Supreme says, for me, when I rewatched the films with my friend, the issue fans have with the sequel trilogy, such as not planning things out, was always there with the original trilogy. I wonder if it was more forgivable back then. It was probably more forgivable back then because it was like one of the first like real trilogies in like American cinema. Like, you're just sort of like making stuff up as you go along. I guess with the expectation by the time you get to the prequels and later the sequels is, we've done this before. Like, within this franchise, we've done this before. So like, and not even just within this franchise, but just like, we have so many trilogies now that are very clearly inspired by the Star Wars trilogy structure that, okay, well, this is how you do it. And that's where the frustration with the later two trilogies comes from, in that it's a thing where it's like, yeah, you just, it's already, the framework's laid out for you. Just do it now. So that's where that frustration comes from, I think. Lionel Francis Hughes' art in Hickman's Avengers run is hoary. Really? You don't like it? There's a point in Infinity where Captain Marvel is tied up and a female version of Ex Nihilo is caressing her body. Oh, you mean horny? Yes. No, yeah. I mean, Hickman avoids a lot of romance in his Avengers book, but those characters fuck. Like, make no mistake, off panel, they fucking. It's, again, it's still the Avengers. Like, just because he doesn't want to focus on the romance doesn't mean it's not happening. On Alex Ross's collabs, thoughts on BCX Marvels. Do you like it more than Kingdom Come? Yes. I do like the Marvels more than Kingdom Come. That's another one that I think you can just hand to, like, anyone who is interested in, like, jumping into, like, Marvel lore and mythology. You can definitely just give that to someone. It's a wonderful book. Fuck, what's the protagonist's name? It's like Francis, I think. Hold on a second. You see it. It's like, can't remember this guy's name. Phil, Phil Sheldon. Yeah, like, Phil Sheldon's a really interesting protagonist in that he's not like an altruistic man. He's not like he's not a trendsetter. He's not making waves. He's just he's literally an NPC. And there's a bit where like he throws a bottle at like Iceman's head because he gets swept up in the moment of like mutant phobia. Um, like you just would not see that type of character in like a modern comic. I don't think the culture is people would not be able to handle that right now. I don't think with like social political tensions as high as they are. Um, that book is really good. Um, I also think it again plays to the idea and the core philosophy of the Marvel universe in that it's not this like glorious, epic, biblical, mythological like realm of heroes. Like it's not that. The Marvel universe is it's steeped in horror. Like a lot of those artists and writers who founded Marvel are horror artists and writers. Um, a lot of those Marvel characters start off as like Marvel monsters. Um, so like taking a look at the Marvel universe from the perspective of like the average man and just being fucking terrified. I think it's a really good take. And it gave birth to like one of my personal favorite comics. No, I love the Marvels. It's really good. Um, Supreme says I've been rereading the G. Willow Wilson run, and there is a point, or there's a part of me that wished it ended, with the initial 2014 volume with Bruno and Kamala facing the incursions. There's a sense of charm in the first 19 issues. There really is. I feel like Kamala is one of those victims of post MCU, post Marvel as a lifestyle brand, where she just got way too big, way too fast, and they started just like making her books less about her and her family and more about Kamala in the Marvel universe. And I think that's like what really detracted from that character for me, and that's when I start to like I don't know, fall out of love with that book. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely some stuff after Secret Wars that I really like, but I do agree the book is never nearly as strong as those like first like 19 or 20 issues. That's true. No one talks about Tony Stark. Yeah. When do you think comic book Tony Stark characterization started to become Robert Downey Jr. light? Definitely with not Kurt Busiek. Kieran Gillen. I feel like Kieran Gillen's Invincible Iron Man, like everything from Believe onward, that's where you get RDJ light. And that's where that character feels less like comic Tony and more like movie Tony. I don't know, I also just wasn't. I didn't really like. I like Kieran Gillen a lot, but like, I was not into his Iron Man. I just wasn't into it. I don't know what it was at the time. I just wasn't. I wasn't with it. I didn't like it. What do you think about Bronze Tiger? Honestly, I don't know that much about Bronze Tiger. I know he's a big part of the Suicide Squad run from the 80s by John Ostrander and Carl Kessel, but I haven't like read it that like much. I've got like bits and pieces of it here and there, like pulling screen grabs for like videos, but I just missed the boat. on that book when it was being reprinted. Uh, a couple years back when the Suicide Squad movie was coming out, DC did this like big uh, recollection of all of the original Suicide Squad run, and for whatever reason, I just didn't jump on it, and now those trades are like hard as shit to find. So my bad. But I do want to check out some of that stuff because I hear Bronze Tiger's a really cool character. He plays a big part in like the first 3 arcs, not the first 3 arcs, but like the third arc of Tom King's Batman. I Am Suicide. And I like him in some of the animated stuff. Like I think he's really cool in the Suicide Squad. I think it's Hell to Pay, like the animated movie. Like up until James Gunn's film, like it was the best Suicide Squad movie. John Ty says, I mean, there was romance in Hickman's Avengers run, Smasher and Cannonball. They're a couple and they have a child together. Which that romantic connection between the two comes out of nowhere. Well, that's the thing. It's just there. Like Hickman doesn't like explore it. It's just they hook up. Sunspot is jealous, but he gets over it. And then Cannonball and Smasher have a baby together. Like there's no drama, but like there's no like exploration of. Nope, just Smasher got smashed by Cannonball, and 8 months later they have a baby. Moving on. Like Hickman doesn't. He's not fixating on like the relationship between the two. The closest we ever really get to like relationship drama in a Hickman book is like some of the like arguments and spats that Reed and Sue have, but I don't know, you don't really focus on it that much. Like Hickman's all about like, nah man, fuck it, we got world building to do. I got these like 3 kingdoms to build up. I got like I got charts to write. We gotta have the Annihilation Wave be a big part of this. That's also a through line that sticks throughout all the Hickman stuff leading up to Secret Wars. The Annihilation Wave, it just kept going. Like it never stopped. Like it's like brought back. Is brought in twice. Like the Annihilation Wave, is used to. Fuck, I forgot what it's used for in his Fantastic Four book, but they use the Annihilation Wave to like get rid of someone or somebody. I can't remember though. And then the Shi'ar Empire used the Annihilation Wave to destroy like Tony Stark's like Unicron gun that he was like he had like built and just placed inside like Saturn or something like that. Like yeah, I don't know. It's again Hickman. Just everything ties together. It's really good. Justice. Hey, what's up, Justice? Fuck. Oh, what do you mean? What's up, Justice? I just answered like 3 of your questions. Jesus, I'm fuck. I'm tired. Sorry. I'm currently collecting the Suicide Squad by John Ostrander, but damn, some of those trades are hard to collect. Yeah, you're right. Like I missed. Like we missed the boat. We should have got them all when they came out in like what 2015, 2016 when the Suicide Squad movie was coming out. Should have got them then. God damn it. And they're all cheap then too. Like that's the thing. Like I don't like they're all like $20. And like six like between like $17 and $20. I definitely could have done that for like what, 7 volumes, 8 volumes? It's like not that much. Damn, it'd be like that. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be like Earth X again for me in the future, because I remember seeing this as a kid in 3 of the comic shops I would frequent growing up, and everyone would always tell me that they were really good, and I just ignored them. I ignored them. I ignored Earth X. I was like, that looks weird. Why does Captain America look like Bruce Willis with an A on his forehead that's like carved? Why is Spider-Girl Venom? This is dumb. Lo and behold, one of the greatest Marvel comics ever written. Well, you get them next time. Do you like the concept of the builders? Yeah. I think they're really interesting. I think they like work really well within the confines of everything that like Hickman was building up to, like thematically with that whole run, and its notions of like relative godhood, and like the act, like the living act of creation and death. I think it's all wonderful. I also just think they're fucking cool, like little ant. They're like robot ant people, but they're not robots. Like some of them are robots, some of them aren't. They're like really cool. Supreme says, so on my anime rewatch, I've been rewatching Ava. Here's my take. I don't trust Masato anymore. The whole Shinji Masato dynamic raises so many red flags. Yep. But I feel like Masato is one of those characters where we're on her side because she is like Shinji's handler and like his mom-ish. In those like first like 20 episodes. But it's really in like those last like 5 episodes and like the end of Evangelion movie where like you see all the stuff that like you were kind of like brushing over as like, oh, look at her, it's anime mommy. She's drinking heavily and she's like being really sort of like inappropriate in like an anime kind of way with Shinji. Oh, it's anime. It's all, don't think about it. But then the movie actually like deconstructs that character and makes you think about it. And you're like, oh. Then like you go back and you rewatch the show and all those banners that are just like rose tinted, you take off those glasses and they are just a field of red flags. That woman is broken. Just like everyone else in that show is broken. Yeah, that's another show that's like really great to like rewatch because you get to pick out little character bits and pieces here that you like missed the first time around. It's a really fun show. I love it a lot. That's why it's my favorite anime. Gentai says, isn't it crazy that Earth X was only a thing because Alex Ross created art of what his Marvel Kingdom Come would be? Yes, it is. Like, you know, I guess that's one thing I'll give Kingdom Come. It gave birth to Earth X. Like, yay. I think Wizard Magazine was like, hey, what can you do some sketches of like what your version of or like what a Marvel version of Kingdom Come would be? And there's like sketches of Reed Richards in like Doctor Doom's armor, and I think like Mayday Parker as Venom, and like Captain America, like he was just straight up looking like Bruce Willis with the A carved on his head. And Marvel was like, all right, we can do something with this. Hey, Jim Kruger, do you want to do like one of the 5 comics you'll ever write? Bet. Do you like Secret Warriors by Hickman? Secret Warriors. Have I read Secret Warriors? I have not read Secret Warriors. Huh. 28 issues. Alright, volume 1 is $41. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Like a... Okay, there's an omnibus. Okay. Used goes for $205. Nice. Well, guess I will add that to the list. Because I haven't read that at all. Troom says, my 2 criticisms with Ava is that Toji should have died and Kaji's backstory was explored more. And that is the areas where the manga does better. Yeah, the manga is really good. I like the manga a lot. In fact, I do think the manga might be my favorite version of Evangelion. In fact, fuck it. I'm going to Katsucon like next month. I'm gonna see if like one of the vendors has that whole series. I'm gonna save up and just splurge and get that whole run if I can. Yeah, because that's it is my favorite version of Evangelion. They printed it a few months ago. What? Secret Warriors? Did they? Hold up. There's a complete collection. This is like the first this volume 1 is like the first half of it. Alright. Add it to the list. Damn. Man, fuck y'all for making me buy comics. God damn it. This bookshelf's already full of shit. These are good problems to have. I like reading comics. But yeah, thanks for the recommendation, man. I'm definitely gonna add that to my list. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to call it a night. Thank y'all for showing up. I didn't think any of you guys were because I'm like a day late, and I started like 30 minutes late too. So thanks for showing up, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing some more videos soon. They're mostly gonna be like I have a series of shorts I'm gonna start doing because the algorithm loves YouTube shorts. So I guess I'll start doing. I'll do more of those. Plus, I just have like ideas for a lot of those, and they're fun to make. But I am working on refining my Ultimates 2 review. Because as I've read more Marvel comics, there's just some stuff there that I like noticed that Hickman and not Hickman, that Mark Miller and Brian Hitch were like doing that I didn't pick up on before. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's gonna be like my next big video project, and after that, I don't know. I'm gonna do like some collabs with some other creators. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if like schedules align. But yeah, and some more Spider-Man gameplay stuff, more live streams. So yeah, until then, bye.